Easter is, today's lesson is entitled Jump Time, Name It and Claim It. Basically what we know is the truth of our being is that we are immortal spiritual beings. And most of the time we're living as though we're not. As though something's going to happen. As though the rug is going to get pulled out of underneath. As though something is going to go wrong. And there's a wonderful poem from Walt Whitman in Leaves of Grass where he says, no one has ever adored enough. No one has ever loved enough. No one has ever discovered how safe they really are. How good it is to just be yourself and to allow that possibility to happen. So we're in it. So the reason we've called it Easter Rising is I've been a minister now for 27 years. 26 of those years in the pulpit. So that's a lot of Easter services, yeah? And every year the story's the same. I couldn't really, over the years, we've changed the readings a little bit. We've made them a little shorter. We've tried to make the story so you get the essence of it. And I can't really change the story. The story is the same story. Easter is about a rising into our true nature, rising into this immortal self, rising into the joy of what it is to be really alive. There was you all know the story, it's like Sergio played it at the beginning of the service, Amazing Grace. The story of that song, and there's a line in the song where it says, and God saved a wretch like me. But that song and that story is really what Easter's all about. That man who wrote that song was a slave trader. And he was in a boat full of slaves from Africa coming to the West and hit a big storm. And the storm almost sunk the boat. And in the course of the storm, he prayed. And in the dawn, there was a new day. And he saw, that was an Easter story. He saw that everything that he was doing was wrong. That it wasn't about life. That it wasn't about the glory of life. And he, in that instant, changed. He took the slaves back to Africa and became a freedom fighter for the rest of his life. He became somebody, tried to change the game because he literally was reborn. He saw the world in a whole new way. And that's the truth about each of us. That whatever it is that we're holding on to, whatever it is our limitations are, whatever we think is holding us back from really being alive, from really being free. I love the work of my life right now is very simple. I've gotten it down to very simple. And I'm using the words from Ernest Holmes. We were born to have fun living. Well, that's a whole other story. Wait, I thought life's a bitch and then you die. No, you're born to have fun living. Now he goes on. He says, but the fun living is the next line is to constantly commune with the presence that is within and around you. To constantly commune with the presence. If you look at that idea to constantly commune with the presence, if we're immersed in life and life is all around us, then it's possible to commune with all of life. It's possible to commune with the air. It's possible to commune with the birds. It's possible to commune with the bugs. It's possible to commune with the flowers. It's possible to commune with other souls. You can commune with all of life. And when that relationship becomes one that you are carrying in your heart, you are no longer waiting for Sunday or waiting for Easter or waiting for a holiday to be lifted up. You're actually in communion, having the opportunity to be lifted up right in the moment now. Born to have fun living. So communion would be, well, are you having fun? Yes. Yeah, are you having fun? Good. Now you say, well, I'm having fun, but who do you want to share the fun with? Right? Do you notice every time you see a beautiful sunset, every time you see something spectacular, first thing you want to do is share it with somebody? Right? We were born to have fun, to commune with all of life. That means share with all of life, yes? And to grow and expand forever. To grow and expand into my true and eternal nature. And we're told, or we're given the opportunity to say, your true and eternal nature, you're born in the image of God. Well, that's grow and expand into what? into what it is to be godlike, to grow and expand into what it is to actually be the presence of the living one. Wow. And you could do that all the time. And you can live your life that way all the time. But the key is that you have to know that the fun living is actually coming from the communing. You have fun living because you're communing with all of life. Because you're sharing your life with all of life. That the Spirit that is you is the Spirit of God, and you are sharing your adventure with God. That's why God put you here. Because the moment you discover your true nature, guess who's right there with you, discovering it with you? And so God gets to constantly rediscover itself through you and me. Every moment of every life, all depending on how much we are communing with this one. And we say, well, what is my true and eternal nature? Well, I have a CD set, which I just produced, and I have a copy of it here. It's available now. We did it this year. It's called The New Normal. And the new normal is what Easter's all about. The new normal says it's normal to be healthy. The new normal says it's normal to have everything your heart desires, to have your life be fun. It's normal. That's normal. To be healthy, to have your life be fun, to have love, to be in love. That's normal, to be in love. Hey, look at all the grandbabies I got back there. I got babies and grandbabies in the hall. It's normal to be in love. It's normal to have love smile at you. It's normal to have love in your life. Whoa, overflowing amounts of love is normal. And it's normal not to die. And it's normal to get off the cross. To start calling yourself and your life a drag. And get yourself free. Get off of that. And so that possibility exists any moment. You know, Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, was walking across the commons when the light came upon him. It can change in an instant. How fast you can rise up into your true nature can change in an instant. But you have to be prepared for that. You have to be knocking at the door of that. You have to be knocking at the door of the possibility that you could grow and expand into your true nature, not at the end of your life, now. In this moment, something could awaken you to the glory of your own existence. Whoa. And you could step into that normal health, wealth, love, purpose, fulfillment, and eternal life. Grow and expanding forever. And this is this whole story of Jesus. This line of Jesus is John 17, 20 to 22. Is everything that Easter's all about. That all may be made one. Like thou, the Father, art in me. I in thee, that may be one in us, I in them, they in me, and they be in the perfect one. In other words, everybody has the opportunity to commune with all of life. It's all there. That presence is with each of us every day. And what's the opportunity for us? You couldn't plant a seed in hard dirt, can you? What do you have to do to the dirt before you can plant a seed in it? You've got to till the soil, yeah? You've got to till the soil so that something is ready to receive this idea. So your soul is that. Your daily walk is what are you doing to prepare yourself that you could be walking across the commons today and light could fill your being and you could know who and what you really are. Whoa. What if you began that communion today? What if you began to notice that today? Did you see the hawk fly and land? Whoa. Did you share that? Were you in communion with that? This opportunity is there for us every day. And it can happen in a millisecond if we're tilling the soil of our own being. And of course, what we recommend you do is daily we meditate. Daily we take time to let this self of myself be immersed. You don't have to go far. It's right where you are. Right? Daily, we get into a communion with ourselves. Daily, we begin to know this presence. And the more we till that soil, the more we share our joy with life, not just with life, but with all of life. The more you do that, the more you're ripe for that moment of transformation, that moment when something can pop into your awareness of your own soul, your own greatness, your own glory. Meister Eckhart, the 12th century mystic, says the soul has two faces. One is gazing at the glory of God, and the other is directing the senses. So really what we're talking about is, what if all of a sudden your mind opened up and you could see that you were gazing at the glory of God? That that's really what you're doing. Look at the glory of all of life, and that this life pulsating in me is that life. Whoa, gazing at the glory of God. What if I felt that? What if I walked through the commons and all of a sudden I saw that that's what I'm doing? Whoa, that's a lot different than struggling for a life. That's a lot different than the daily hardships of life, isn't it? And I wrote this letter to everybody this week. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm going to share it with you because I addressed the 7 words that were said on Good Friday, the last 7 things that were recorded that Jesus said. And it was not a good day. That was not a good day. It led to what became a Good Friday, but the moment was not good. He had to see through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality. He had to bring that gaze to the moment now. And when he did that, he gave us these ideas that we could look at, that what is the world going to be when I'm birthed into it? What is the world going to be when I'm birthed into it? So we're still in a situation. Have you ever heard the expression peace on earth and goodwill toward men? You ever heard that expression? That expression has been being said for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and we're not doing too well with it. We're not really doing it yet. And yet that's the truth. Peace and goodwill toward all humanity and the earth is the truth. So this world that we're born into, even as we're new, even as we're fresh, it's needing us to bring that freshness to it because it hasn't broken through. It's not the springtime of humanity just yet. We're getting there. We will get there. The surface waves are crashing, and just beyond the surface waves are the depths of life. So when they finish crashing, the sea will be there. All the sea will be there, and we will have a chance to birth that. So what did he say? He said, so the first one, he says, forgive them, they know not what they do. Well, we talk about forgiveness all the time here. I cancel the demands and expectations that are blocking my attitude of love. Forgiveness is all about what I'm doing with my love, right? Forgive them. So what was his statement? What was he saying? He says, forgive them. A universe is governed by love and diminished by reaction. Now, what do I mean by that? A universe that's governed by love, forgive them, they know not what they do. It's governed by love and diminished by reaction. Wasn't that whole story when they said, oh, we'll put Barabbas free and put Jesus in? Wasn't that just a reaction? It was just a reaction. And it diminished life. That reaction diminishes life. Now, so what do I mean is, I was talking to my good friend, the medical doctor, Dr. Matt, the other day, and I said, you ever heard the expression knee-jerk reaction? You ever heard the expression knee-jerk reaction? Well, that's this boom, you hit here and it reacts, yes? The body reacts. Spirit doesn't react. Spirit responds. And Spirit responds with love. So the challenge in forgive them, they know what they do, is we're reacting. We're reacting all the time. Somebody flinches and we flinch back. Instead of what does Spirit do? How does Spirit respond? Because Spirit responds always with unconditional love. And remember, I talked to you many times, we speak to God with words, yes? We speak to God in prayer. I know there's one power, that power is perfect, that power is the perfect life of God, that power is my life right here and right now. And I use all these words. And the words are going to say, and could I have a greater success, or will you guide me into more fulfillment, or can I have deeper love, or whatever you're praying for, right? You pray that prayer, but its love is going to respond to it. It's not going to answer you back with words. Here, I'm going to guide you. Well, I want you to guide you into perfect right action. We'll go down to 5th Avenue and turn left. That's not how Spirit guides you into perfect right action. It doesn't tell you to go to 5th Avenue and turn left. Spirit reveals something to you. Something comes from within and you see it. You go, oh, I see that. I now know that's the truth. When we get out of reaction and begin to ask, how can I respond with love? What's the way Spirit is going to move? Spirit does not react. Spirit responds, but it always responds with love. So you see, that challenge is a world that's in reaction. So how can I be more Christ-like, more Buddha-like, more awakened-like? Let me be less reactive and figure out how it is I want to respond to whatever's being said. It doesn't matter whether it's in politics or religion or the world. Oh, somebody disagrees with me. You don't have to react. You can think about it and say, how does love respond? How do I want to respond to an action? Do you see that difference? A world that's diminished by reaction and waiting for us to lovingly respond. What's going to happen? And have you ever seen that? Where you reacted and you knew you did the wrong thing. Oh, shoot, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that, right? Never. No, right? So the world, we need to know, it's governed by unconditional love. And spirit responds. So if we're knee-jerking, reacting, we know that's the body. Spirit is the body, but spirit is the cause of body. Body reacts. Spirit responds. You see the difference? So the next thing is the universe. What's the next thing? Today, he turns to the thieves. He says, today, you will be with me in paradise. He turns to the thieves. Today, you will be with me in paradise. Well, what's that mean? It means the universe is filled with the possibility of limited good. Did those thieves need to be on the cross with Jesus to have the possibility of good be there for them? Or was it there all the time? You see, the possibility for good is there all the time. But again, I'm planting seeds, but that soil is just as hard as it could possibly be. And those seeds aren't going to grow because that soil is not tilled. And that seed cannot find its way to get nurtured. Do you see? We need to know the possibility for unlimited good is always there. What one door opens, one door closes, and another one opens. There's always the possibility for good. And we need to know that. And that's why he said, today you will be with me in paradise, because the possibility was always there. But if you step through with me, you still have the possibility, and you'll still have to till your own soil. Do you see how that works? Right? And then the third line, the next thing he says is behold your son. He turns to his mother, and he says, behold your son. And then he turns to everybody, and he says, behold your mother. And what's he talking about? He's talking about the divine feminine. That you can't have a male without a female, and you can't have a female without a male. You can't have yin without yang, and you can't have yang without yin. It's yin and yang. They're all together. You can't have love without law. Love and law are together all the time. Love is the inspiration of the universe, and the law is how the universe is governed. And we are involved with love and law all the time. And so what is the one thing about the feminine? The one thing about the feminine is its capacity to love without end. To love its creation. To love creation and to love its creation is the nature of feminine. Do you see that? And that means each one of us has the capacity for unlimited love. And we say, oh, well, I don't want to love too much because then I'll get hurt. Well, you imagine how many babies would be born if that was the story. I don't want to love too much because then I'll get hurt. I don't want to love too much because then there'll be labor involved. Do you follow? You have to be willing to love creation all the time and to know that the potential is always there. So you know, look at a political figure in the world that you don't like. Doesn't matter what country he's from. But is it possible that that person is love? That behind everything that's there is a real soul, a real human being? Yeah. And can you love anyway? And that's that nature that we need to begin to see. And then, of course, we're living in a world where we still are debating, are men and women equal? Oh my God, really? We have to step beyond that. Do you see that? Behold, it's worth loving creation. Behold, it's worth loving creation. That's what he's saying. That's the possibility. My God, here's the next line. My God, why has that forsaken me? Now the Lamsa Bible says, he says, my God, for this I have come into being. But it doesn't matter which one it is, because have you ever had a moment where you thought God was gone? Yeah, where you thought, where to go? Where's my help? Where's my support? Right? And that moment of faith, you lost for a second. But what do you do when you lose your faith? Turn back again, don't you? You have to turn back because you are belong to God. So if you lost your faith, it's not that God went anywhere, right? So what does he say? If you lose your faith for a second, that's okay. It's like you fell down. Get up again. Just get up. If you lose your faith for a second, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Of course I mean you, my love. Do you follow? So this is the possibility that's always there for us. What if I just chose? It's okay. I lost my faith for a second. I'm remembering who I am now. And don't we need to do that again? If we make a mistake, what do you have to do? You have to forgive yourself and move on, don't you? Right? So that's the potential that's always there. Why? God, what's going on? I don't feel you right now. Okay. Read again, ask again. Read again, ask again. That's all. It'll come back. So, and you felt that, right? My friend Walter Starkey, the great, wonderful New Thought writer, when he was in his 80s, he was lecturing around a lot, and he would be in touch with this thing that he's communing with all the time. And he says, so when I talk, I'm just sort of listening to this thing, and it's sort of talking through me. He says, the worst thing that ever happened to me is I stood up on a platform and I couldn't hear it. Right? Well, you lost your faith for a second. So then I went looking. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, presence? And then I found it again. Oh, you didn't forsake me. For this I've come into being. I remember. Oh, the next one is I thirst. And we talked about this a little last week. Is it okay to thirst for the goodness of humanity? Isn't it okay to thirst? Have you ever been in this sanctuary where it was really great? Where the music was great, the eyes and the souls you saw were great, the lesson you heard was great, the people you saw were great. Didn't you feel heavenly from that experience? Right? When you go there and you say, well, if we could do that for a second in the sanctuary, wouldn't it be possible to do it all the time? Wouldn't it be possible for all people to do it all the time? Oh, I thirst. There's nothing wrong with thirsting. Thirst. Good. Now you know you're thirsty. I'm thirsty for the revelation of the goodness of all of life. I'm thirsty for myself. I'm thirsty for my children, for my wife. I'm thirsty for my grandchildren. And I'm thirsty for their children. We need to bring forth the world that works for everybody. We thirst for a world awakening, yes? There's nothing wrong with thirsting. So we recognize we are now stepping into these words. He says, these are the 7 things that you need to see. These were the last things he said. Oh my God. He says, and then he says, it is finished. Meaning what? I gave my life to God, and my life had meaning. Isn't that nice? Wouldn't it be, instead of trying to struggle for all the meaning in your life, wouldn't it be nice to just give yourself over and discover that your life has meaning? Right? I don't have to search for it. I just give myself over to that which I am, and all of a sudden, my work shows up as having meaning, my family shows up as having meaning, my friends show up as having meaning. Isn't that something? Right? Oh, when I give it over, the work is done. I'm enough. Oh, wow, isn't that something? I'm enough. A soul I thirst. So the soul I thirst is I hold faith in the inherent goodness of God and the inherent goodness of humanity. I thirst for that goodness to be revealed. And the next one is it is finished. A soul is surrendered to the divine. And if I'm surrendered to divine, my success is guaranteed. And I'm enough. Whoa, wouldn't that be simple? Just you belong to the one, you accept your life as the one, and you're enough. And wouldn't if everybody felt like they were enough, wouldn't there be a lot less violence in the world? And then the last one, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Now the word he used was Abba, which meant first cause, didn't mean father. It was a masculine and feminine. Father is a masculine term, which was we assigned to it thousands of years later in the Nicene Council, actually. So that's where we took the feminine out of God. And now it's time to put it back. It's time to put compassion back. It's time to put caring back. It's time to put love in charge. Oh, and the world is rising. You know, we used to think things were going around and round. The scientists thought that the whole planet was just going round and round. It's not going round and round. It's spiraling up. Everything is spiraling up. Everything is spiraling up. Easter is rising. It's the same story, but Easter is rising. The potential is rising. What we can do with the story is rising. Yes. Humanity is rising up. And here's how fast and how different it is. The scientists have been, just in the last couple of years, have been finding all kinds of planets that they say could sustain life. It was just a decade and a half ago where we thought there is no planet anywhere near us that can sustain life. Now we're finding planets all over the place that have the capacity to sustain life. We don't know how close they are because we thought the speed of light was as fast as you could go. Well, quantum science now says, electrons show us, they're going to two places at the same time. And if they're going two places thousands of miles apart at the same time, they have to be going much faster than the speed of light. At the same time, it's much faster than the speed of light. And we know this is true within the human being. Because did you know about saliva? They're doing these tests with saliva these days. That, I know it sounds weird, but follow me so you can see how fast we can grow, how fast things can change. They took saliva from a soul here in Burbank, and they put electrodes into the saliva so they could measure its chemical response, right? Then they put the guy on an airplane to Phoenix. But they set up some obstacles. They set up some baggage claim obstacles, and they set up some flight reservations obstacles. He didn't know, the guy with the saliva didn't know, that he was going to have obstacles on his flight. He just told him, you're doing an experiment, you're going to get on a plane. So he gets on the plane, and every time there was an obstacle, the saliva reacted. He's way over there at the airport, and the saliva's reacting to the obstacles that were set up, right? When the plane lands in Phoenix, the saliva responded to the wheels touching down. Now, if that's happening, that means there's some kind of intelligence within the very cells of your being that know how to respond to you wherever you are, regardless of where you are, moving faster than the speed of light. That's why it said, in an instant you can wake up to the glory of who you are. So Easter is rising, meaning this potential to pop into, my soul is gazing at the glory of God. Why was I struggling? Why was I afraid? Why was I upset? My soul's gazing at the glory of God. And when I see that, the moment I see that, amazing grace, I'm different, I'm changed. It happens that fast, faster than the speed of light. Whoa, Easter's rising. And the intelligence is rising. And we're beginning to know what we are in a new way and how we're connected in a new way to everything. We're beginning to get it in a new way. But it's only when we get that all the way through that we begin to live differently. Yes? When we begin to say, you know, I woke up this morning and I didn't say, this is the day the Lord has made and I'm rejoiced in it because somebody told me I should say that. Or some Bible told me I should say that. Or some book said I should say that. No, I woke up because I'm communing with the living Spirit. And I realized this is the day the Lord has made. And I'm awake and glad of it. Yeah? This is the possibility of Easter. It doesn't happen this time of year because the date moves all the time. People say, oh, this is the day that Jesus... No, this was not the day. This is a symbol. This is an opportunity that's there all the time. That you can rise up into your true nature. That you can jump into the full glory of your own life. Jump time is now. Easter is rising, and the time is now. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're facing the most difficult challenge you ever faced, or whether you're looking at a greater opportunity than you've ever had before, it's jump time, and everything's going to work out just fine. And I invite you to think on these things as together we explore the possibilities. Thank you. Thank you, bless you.